From mental health offers on TikTok, deepfake porn videos created without consent, to modern warfare with drones, hackers and the help of AI. This episode shows how flawed and sometimes dangerous AI therapists and self-proclaimed mental coaches are, whether US President Donald Trump's Take It Down Act can put an end to malicious deepfake porn videos, and whether digital capabilities can be decisive for war in current military conflicts. Have you seen mental health advice videos like this on your timeline? From ADHD to anxiety and depression, social media is flooded with videos claiming to know how to help. The problem? A lot of it is just not true. Still, many turn to TikTok, Insta and YouTube for help. So how can you tell what's real and what's not? Let's break it down. An investigation by the British newspaper The Guardian looked at 100 TikToks using the hashtag mental health tips. They showed them to experts like psychologists and academics. Over half were found to contain misinformation. Many more were misleading. And it's not just TikTok. A review of dozens of studies found that misinformation on mental health is widespread on all social media platforms. Experts even describe this as part of a rampant public health crisis. Okay, so what do you need to watch out for? Some creators misuse psychological terms, like using anxiety and depression as if they mean the same thing. They don't. This creates confusion about what a mental illness really is. Quick self-diagnosis is another red flag. Having a few symptoms means you have a disorder? Not really. Mental health is complex. Often it's a spectrum of symptoms that point towards different disorders. Also, some videos label everyday feelings as disorders. Things get oversimplified, which can make real mental health issues seem less serious. Lastly, there's lots of unproven or sketchy treatment advice. Supplements, oils, life hacks. At best, they don't help. At worst, they interfere with real medical treatment. But why are those videos even popular? Well, it comes down to one basic social media principle. Platforms try to keep you hooked for as long as possible. So algorithms boost emotional, catchy videos even if they're not accurate. Creators often mix advice with personal stories. This makes it engaging and relatable. The tricky part, we trust the people we follow, and we subconsciously look for confirmation. If a video matches what we already suspect, we are more likely to believe it. So what can you do to protect yourself? First, cross-check the creator's credentials. Are they a licensed therapist? A doctor? Google them. Are they legit? Be careful with oversimplified advice. Mental health treatment isn't one size fits all. There are no quick fixes. Always cross-check the information with trusted sources like the WHO. Or better yet, ask your doctor. Think before you trust and always double-check. Most importantly, take care of yourself. It's everyone's nightmare, finding sexually explicit images of yourself online. Non-consensual intimate images, widely known as revenge porn, have become a huge problem worldwide. They can be real pictures or AI-generated deepfakes. A study by US cybersecurity firm Home Security Heroes reported that deepfake porn makes up 98% of all deepfake videos online, with 99% of them targeting women. The study found 95,820 deepfake videos online, which is a 550% increase from 2019. In May, US President Donald Trump signed a law that makes it illegal to post such images. The Take It Down Act also puts pressure on tech companies to remove that content. Sounds like an overdue step, but some critics say it may fall short of actually helping the affected. Here's what you need to know. Non-consensual intimate images, a growing problem. Having someone share explicit content of you online is a traumatic experience, no matter if the images are real or AI generated. Victim support groups worldwide are sounding the alarm because the number of incidents is rising exponentially. South Korea is the most affected. According to a study, 53% of all non-consensual sexual deepfakes online show South Korean women. By the way, the term revenge porn is very problematic in itself. It suggests the victim did something to deserve retaliation. It also downplays the seriousness of the abuse by framing it as pornography. Victim support organizations suggest we should instead use terms like image-based sexual abuse or intimate image abuse. Unfortunately, legislation in many parts of the world lags behind, and prosecuting these kinds of crimes is difficult. So the US Take It Down Act is seen as a step in the right direction. What does the Take It Down Act say? It will fully come into effect next year. Websites and social media platforms will have to remove reported content within 48 hours after a victim requests it. And they have to make reasonable efforts to remove any reposts or copies of the offending material. Apart from that, the law empowers victims to sue perpetrators for damages. So there will be a legal path to get compensated for any emotional and reputational harm. Perpetrators also potentially face years in jail, depending on the severity of the crime. These are good intentions, but how will this work? Well, it mainly comes down to the platforms. They will have to build new infrastructure for a takedown system. It could work like this. Firstly, they need reliable ways to verify that a takedown request is legitimate. The problem, automated identity verification has its limits. For example, a face might not always be clearly visible. Apart from that, they must create technology that detects and removes identical copies. And they also need to set up a clear framework on what users must do if they want an intimate image taken down. The US Federal Trade Commission will oversee enforcing the law. We don't know if this will really work out as planned from a technical perspective. And finding explicit images of yourself posted somewhere on the internet in the first place is a whole other problem. But that's not the only reason why the new bill isn't supported by everyone. The controversy. NGOs like the Electronic Frontier Foundation and the Center for Democracy and Technology criticize the law for being too vague. In their eyes, it could be used to remove a much wider array of content than intended and become a weapon to threaten or stifle political opponents. And then there are privacy concerns. To work effectively, platforms would most probably have to check private messages to keep people from sharing reported content with others. Overall, some experts argue that the law might traumatize victims even more by promising more justice, which it, as of now, can't deliver. Fortunately, there are some organizations that support affected people. Take It Down is an online tool specifically designed to help minors. It was created long before the recent bill of the same name and is not directly related. With the tool, kids can anonymously flag and request removal of nude or sexually explicit images of themselves from participating platforms. For adults, a similar tool called Stop NCII has been available since 2021. Both tools are supported by big platforms like Meta. Even though it might be really hard to do so, it is also important to inform the police. If you don't report it, the perpetrators can simply walk away. And if it all gets too much, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Visit this website to find out who you can turn to in your country. Countries around the world are buffing up their military. In 2024, global military spending hit over $2.7 trillion. That's nearly 10% more than in 2023. The biggest spenders are the US, China, Russia, Germany, and India. More and more of that money is going to high-tech and digital weapons. The arms race is now a tech race. So, what's changing on the battlefield? Let's break it down. First, AI. AI speeds up the so-called kill chain. That's a military speak for find, track, and strike. The US Pentagon says generative AI helps with planning and strategy. Furthermore, it could analyze battlefield data in real time, such as imagery, signals, or maps. This might predict movements and allow for faster resource allocation. But here's the twist. Big AI companies say their AI models shouldn't be used to harm people, but nearly all of them have contracts with firms supplying the military. Next in line, drones. Drones are now everywhere. They scout enemy territory, they drop bombs, they save soldiers from walking into danger. In places like Mexico and Colombia, drones are used to track drug cartels in real time. In Ukraine, Cheap drones are DIY weapons. Soldiers attach explosives to drones bought online. Some cost under 100 euros. These drones can destroy million-dollar tanks.
The wide-scale use of drones in Ukraine is mainly due to a lack of artillery munitions. So for a while, drones were a substitute for shells.
AI is taking drones to the next level. It lets multiple drones work together. This way, so-called swarms can overwhelm defense systems through sheer numbers. Autonomous drones are more accurate. Human-piloted drones hit the target about 10% to 20% of the time. With AI, a jump to 80% is possible. Normally, soldiers monitor autonomous drones, keeping a human in the loop to abort the mission if in doubt. But in a recent Ukrainian operation, a drone swarm lost contact. AI took over. They still hit 41 Russian aircraft, according to reports. Lastly, cyber war. Hackers are soldiers too. They work for governments, companies, or secret services.
Today, the industry has been professionalized with these hacker mercenaries. That has to be noted. A lot has changed in terms of what is being paid, how many people are employed, which are the key countries. The market has grown.
Here's how they fight. First, espionage. Amid escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, a group called APT-36 reportedly attacked India's government systems. APT-36 is believed to be linked to Pakistan. Their main tool, Crimson RAT, a malware designed to steal information. APT-36 sent multiple phishing emails. Once the victim clicked on one of them, the malware was instantly installed. The hackers could then use it to take screenshots, extract files, or even execute commands on the target device. Second, sabotage. Before Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, hackers shut down a satellite company's communication systems. It disrupted Ukraine's military during critical moments. This was one of the first examples of cyber operations actively aiding military movements on the ground. Let us know what you think of this new kind of warfare. Bye for now and see you next time.